Hello. It feels like I'm coming back after a long break, even though I'm really not. I've been posting every day. But when you don't record a voiceover for 7 months, sometimes it feels like you haven't done it in a while. So bear with me. I am horribly out of practice. But yeah, I've kept busy, but I've been doing a lot of kind of little doodles and drawings on paper, and I don't record voiceovers for them because I would not have enough to say. I would not have enough to say about them to make it work. But I finally, after all this time, since last July, this is the first time I've really done a digital piece, and even this is I kind of leave the lines rough. I do not do a full clean line work, and I don't do a complete paint over. If the eyes bother you, I will move that eye. There, I'll fix it in a second. It's bothering me a lot right now, but I fixed it. Yeah, I just it just took a long while because a lot's happened in my life. I got a new job in August, and I was like, oh, I'll just get busy with my new job, and then I'll kind of figure it out myself out, and then I'll be back, and I'll be up to kind of larger projects again, not just these little doodles I'm doing to keep myself sharp. And it took a long time. It took a long, long time. I had plenty of time to do it. I sometimes when, with digital especially, when I take a break from digital for a while, I find it really hard to start back in because there's so many options. There's so many tools and so many brushes and things, and especially Procreate. This is in Procreate, and a while ago, some months ago, they had this huge update and made all these new brushes. I think it was like the 5.4 update or something. And I was initially very jazzed, and I was like, oh, I'm going to use this as the opportunity to get back into using Procreate because I love it so much and everything. And then I looked at all the new brushes and tried to figure out which ones I wanted to use and got very overwhelmed. So these are all new brushes for Procreate. They're all included. I didn't kind of search out new ones. I didn't use the old ones. So this is finally me doing what I wanted to do a couple months ago. And just kind of go for it, head empty, just bang your head in the wall and see what works. You might have seen for a second that there were shoulders, and now there are no shoulders. It's because I didn't know where I wanted her body to be, and so I just went back and was like, I'm not ready to think about that. Let's just do more hair. Let's just do more hair for her. So I'm still considering where her body goes at this point in the drawing, and I'm just adding hair strands until I think a thought, and it works out. So here is where I kind of figure what I'm doing out. Her head is turned, her body is kind of turned away from us, her head is facing just past us to the right, actually, very slightly, and kind of her hair is bouncing because she's just turned her head, and when you stop your head, your hair kind of follows for a second, it doesn't stop immediately because it just still has some momentum to it. So that's kind of the idea behind the pose here, which I thought of midway through the pose, which is never really what you want to be doing, but I'd been considering for so long getting back into digital art, and I was like, if I kind of wait to have the perfect plan, I'm never going to do it. It's more of a knowing myself kind of thing. I just had to jump in at this point because it's been so long. The longer it gets, kind of the more intimidating it can be. And we're about to run into the part where I had the most trouble, which is with that far shoulder. She has these puffy sleeves, and I was trying to figure out my proportion of sleeve puff to shoulder to everything, and then how much detail do I want to do, because I kind of wanted to leave the dress minimal to keep the focus on her face and her hair and everything. And so I struggle a lot. You can see the struggle and the confusion as I kind of zoom my canvas around at every angle to look at it, hoping that if I just tilt it a little bit more, it'll all look right, and it'll start working. That doesn't generally work out very well. But I do eventually get it to a point where I don't hate it. And I shift her over so she has more space in the composition to be looking towards. I left that space over there because I wasn't sure where her body was going to be. But now that I know, I can just kind of move her to where I want her. It's one of the benefits of digital art. You can kind of just slapdash. Also, I know the skin tone looks crazy. It's a mid-tone. It will work out. Trust me. We can hold hands if you need me to walk you through this. But already I feel like with that highlight, it's looking less crazy. But yeah, it is very cool toned and pink toned. It's just, this is a very cool toned piece. If I did a warm tone for her skin, it would be glaring. It would be very, very apparent. I already knew at this point what hair color I wanted to give her. I'm gonna wait and let that be surprising. I did just add like a little bit of a more normal skin tone that's less red, just a tad to knock it back a bit. But I'm working through. I'm kind of just smudging things together. At this point, I decided I wasn't doing a full paint over. I went in very ambitious, and I was less ambitious. This whole drawing took about an hour and a half, and by about I mean it's like an hour and 31 minutes, not an hour and 30. Wow, so slow. It's an hour and a half. If I did a full paint over, I would probably be looking at 3 to 4 hours, just with like how simple this composition is. And I just didn't feel up to it. I thought about it. I looked at what time it was and said, I want to be done. So I just tried to kind of leave it messy in an intentional way. Because there's messy in the this doesn't look done, and there's messy in the kind of interesting texture and kind of like minimal detail and like very intentional detail. So again, I left her dress very minimal so that there'd be more focus on her face and hair, where I did add a lot of detail, like a fair amount in terms of texture, at least, not in like neatness. Also, yeah, her hair is purple. I knew that going in. That was the one thought I had, really. I was like, I wanted purple hair, and then I kept second guessing myself because I'm like, that's too bright. I do kind of knock it back in a second. I incorporated a little bit of the blue from the background into her hair and gave it to her as an eye color. It's a bit more saturated in the background, which is a bit more greeny, gray, nothing. I considered adding a lot more highlights than I did, but I just felt like it looked too shiny and plasticky on her skin. I added a little bit on the eyelids and the mouth because those were areas I wanted a bit more focus on. And then just like a little clarity on the eyelashes. I slightly adjust her nose because that was bothering me. Yeah. Oh, one of the cool things about the new brushes is that there's this brush that's like has like multiple kind of strokes in it. So you go by, it's like looks like a little comb has gone over it or something. So I added that to the hair to just give it more flow, more hairness, make it look more natural. And this is the point where I just say, I have no idea what I want the background to do, but I need to do something because it looks too boring. So I'm just trying out different brushes until I find one I like, and here I find one. I kind of wish I, put it over everything and then just erased out because it's on a separate layer. As it was, I kind of kept it to back a little bit from the edge and then blurred it, but the blur makes it have a different texture, which is just whatever. But I think it would be a little more interesting where I didn't. I did earlier, you might have caught it, I did earlier accidentally start drawing on the wrong layer and have to back up. But yeah, I added kind of the shadow, and then I also added a kind of cool bluey highlight over the left side to kind of just bring it all together. So here's my girl. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.